Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're working on this short skirt here. It's not very short, it's not very long either, just a good length to be able to have a good coverage for you. And this is a Valentine's project. Obviously if you're making it in these colors, it's also a project you can make in any colors, and it can be a skirt that is just for any occasion that you want. But yeah, we're kind of making this for the Valentine's. We're using these three colors. So there's the red, the white, and the pink. It's more like a off-white as opposed to just pure white. But yeah, this is what we're using for this particular project. If you're making it for any other occasions, you can obviously change the colors. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab everything I need, and please go ahead and do the same, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so before we proceed, I'm gonna show you all the materials I'm using for this project. And as you can see, I have my yarns here. I have the white, the pink, and the red. So again, you guys are aware by now, I use the same brand here in France. I'm using Azurite by Timid. It's 100% acrylic. It's a lightweight number 3. This skein here is 50 grams or 140 meters. It doesn't have the measurements in grams or anything like that. What else? Recommended hook size is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook. And this color is off-white, but they go by 0211 for the color number. And then these are obviously the exact same beside the color, so I'm just gonna go directly to the color numbers. So this one is 3011, but I will call it pink. And the red one here is 3025. Okay, so in terms of yarn, you can obviously use any type of yarn you like, and you can use any colors combination you like. Okay, and for scissors, I'm going to be using these scissors here. But crochet hook, I'm using a 5 millimeter crochet hook, and this is H8 US. It's a little bit well, it's not a little bit, it's bigger than what is recommended here, but it's my favorite hook. I use it for almost everything. And so you can obviously go with the recommended hook size if you need to. I have a darning needle here for joining our work later. And then of course you need some stitch markers, because you like to know where you are, starting things, ending things, and things like that. Okay. All right. So this is everything we need. Go ahead and grab your materials, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies. So to get started, I'm going to be starting with the red color here. And as you can see, I'm just going to leave a little bit of a long tail like this to join our band, because we're going to be starting with the skirt of the pair here. So the skirt portion, we need to make a band, and then we work from there. So I'm going to just leave a tiny bit of a tail like this. And I'm going to start by doing a slip knot. And this is how I do my slip knot here. Okay, now that I have my knot, I'm gonna go ahead and do a number of chains that is going to be the width of my band. I do almost the same every time, so I'm gonna start by doing a chain of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't have my tape measure here. I think I've told you in the previous videos that I've lost it, and I haven't come to a place to buy one yet. So at this point is where you would use your tape measure just to measure. This actually usually comes up to about 2.5 inches or something like that. So this is the width of the band that I usually prefer. For you, go ahead and obviously make the width that you want. You could do it smaller, you could do it wider than this. Okay. Now that we have that, this 11th chain here, we don't work into it. So we're going to go right into the 10th one right here. And we're going to grab the back loop, just like that. Or the back of the chain, I should say. Just like that. And we're going to complete a single crochet. And then we're going to go into the next stitch and grab the back loop to complete a single crochet. And again, for those of you who are members of the channel, you know exactly what I'm doing here, because I do it exactly the same every time. I don't try to do different things too much. So I'm just doing single crochets in the back of the chain, or the back part of the chain here. These lumps here, I just go into those and complete my single crochets. So I do this all the way to the end, and that creates the first row of our band. And then we work on it pretty much from there on. Okay. Okay, so this is the first row of my band here. And as you can see, it's just a very simple row. And this is going to be what we're doing next here. For the second row is going to be the repeat for a majority of this part here, or pretty much for the band, okay? So for the second row, I'm going to chain one and turn. And then now I have 10 stitches. We've been working with 10 stitches. The chain one here doesn't count as a stitch. So you're just gonna go into that very first stitch and go in the back loop and grab a single, do a single crochet. Then you're gonna go into the next stitch and do a single crochet. And then we go into the next stitch and do a single crochet. And then we just do this all the way to the end. Again, for those of you who are followers of the channel, I go through both loops for the final stitch always, okay? When I do these kind of projects, you will see that I just go through both loops for the final stitch. It just makes it nice and steady and kind of firm, and it doesn't make it stretch at the end, okay? And again, it's your choice. You can just continue to do the single crochets in the back loop all the way to the end. But as you will see here, I have one stitch right here to go. And instead of doing just the back loop single crochet, I'm gonna go through both of these stitches like this and just complete my single crochet that way, okay? So that is a repeat for the band of the skirt, okay? So again, row 3, I chain 1, I turn, and I just repeat exactly what I did in row 2, okay? So just do your single crochets in the back loop, and then if you follow my pattern to the T, then in the back of the final, in the final one, you go through both loops, not just the back loop, okay? So obviously very simple. So go ahead and build your band. And when you have what you need, come back to the video. And what do I mean by what you need? You need to measure the widest part of your hips. Okay, there's people who have wider hips, who don't have wide hips, whatever the case is. But just find the widest part of your hips, the part that when you have putting on your pants or whatever it is, it gives you a little bit of resistance when it comes to that particular part. And then take your tape measure, just put it around that part, and then see how many inches or centimeters or however, whatever units you use. And then what you will do is you will build your band here. When you stretch your band, it should come up to that circumference, okay? The circumference of the widest part of your hips. And this is just to help you be able to pull your skirt up from the bottom without any problem, okay? So go ahead and do that. I will do the same when I finish my band and I know it's the right size. I will come back so I can move on to the next step with you guys, okay? See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies. So I have worked my band here. As you can see, I did 100 rows altogether. This comes up to my size. For my size, the widest part of my hips often fluctuate between 38 and 40. When I stretch these, anything that can come up easily is about that circumference. So I did 100 rows here, and as you can see, this is very stretchy. So that's why I say when you stretch it, it should fit around, because if you don't stretch it, it's going to be extremely loose on your waist, okay? And for the waist, if it's gonna be too loose for whatever reason, we can always have a band, like a drawstring that can help us kind of tie it properly. But for now, this is what I have here. And as you can see, very neat stitches, okay? And pretty much the same on both sides. So the next step here will be to just fold it like this. So I just fold it into 2. And then we're gonna join these here so that we have a tube. We have the band kind of like completed like this. And then we will work our skirt, whichever, like either that way or this way, but we will work our skirt downwards, okay? So now that I line up my work right like this, I'm gonna bring in my darning needle, okay? And the string that we left hanging at the beginning, I'm going to put this into the darning needle, and we're gonna use that to join the two sides of the band here so that we have a complete round tube so we can work into that to create our skirt. So now that I have my darning needle like this, again, you can join however you usually find it comfortable for you. A lot of people use slip stitches to join. you can do that. I just use a darning needle because I find it a little bit neat and it's loose and flexible. While when I use slip stitches, I find that this place here, first of all, it lumps up and then it becomes a little bit, I don't know. Anyways, it's a preference. But anyways, now that I have this like this, I will just go into this first stitch here and then the next, the other first stitch on the other side like that, okay? I'm gonna pull like that and I'm gonna go into that stitch one more time. I'm gonna bring my yarn around like this. It's almost, I'm simulating a slip knot right here to just lock this place here so that it doesn't come off. Then I just pull and then I know that's done there. And then for the other 9 stitches, what I do is I grab the inside loop, and you can do whichever. You can do the outside loop here and the outside loop on the other side, or you can do the inside loop here and the loop on the other side, okay? But what I often do is I take the outside of this side, this loop that is closest to me, and then on the opposite side, I take the loop that is closest to me as well. That way they're actually the opposite. If you put them together like this, they're the opposite. I don't know if I'm making sense. And then I just pull slowly, don't pull too much. Then I go to the next stitch. I grab the outside loop on this side and the inside loop on the other side. And I pull. And then I go to the next stitch. And at this point, you will line up your stitches exactly because you should have exactly 10 stitches. And you did the first one where you went through both loops. And for the next 9, you do it by alternating this. And the reason we also do this is so that it actually simulates this. When we go through the back loop to do the single crochets, at the end, this look where we are joining is gonna kind of simulate that. It's gonna have a look that is looking like that, okay? Okay, so as you can see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So this is where you join. It has this like lump here that simulates these guys here. And then I have my final, so I'm just gonna go through both here and through both on the other side, just like we did at the beginning. And then I am going to actually go through it one more time, but this time I'm gonna bring my loop around like this, the same thing as we did on the other side, and then pull. Okay, so like that, I remove my darning needle, I put it away, and this is it here, it's joined. So we just joined it right here, okay? So now we have a complete band like this. And then we still have our working yarn because we have the string we left hanging. We have our working yarn still connected, so we don't have to remove or disconnect that from the actual project itself, okay? All right, so I'm gonna prep my yarn here. We're gonna actually disconnect the yarn. We're gonna use a different color because we're gonna switch the color. So let me just grab that color and then I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this and join the other one. Okay, my lovely, so I have my color. So I'm actually gonna go with the white. So the next color we're gonna use is the white. And so where we finished the work here, I'm just gonna disconnect that. So I'm gonna grab my scissors and I'm just gonna cut it somewhere here, something like that. I'm gonna put that away, and then what I will do here is I will undo this last part of the project. So just like this, I'm just gonna go where we did the last final single crochet. I'm gonna leave it like this because we're gonna change the color and bring the white in. Okay, so for the white, I'm just gonna prep my color here. And then I will go ahead and show you what to do for this next part, okay? So I'm gonna bring that here like this, and the other tail is still hanging on the other side. I'm gonna hold it on my right hand side, and I'm gonna bring this white color in like this. So just loop onto the yarn and then bring it through like that, okay? And then I'm gonna bring it back to the other side as well. And from here, I will do a chain of 2. And this chain of 2 counts as a double crochet, okay? And then in that same stitch right here, I'm gonna do 2 more double crochets to make it 3. So that's my second and then my third, okay? So I have 3 double crochets in this section. I'm gonna skip what would be like about 2 spaces. So I'm gonna skip this space right here, this space right here, and I'm gonna skip this space right here, And in this space right here, I'm just gonna go right into that space and complete a cluster of 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm gonna skip this area here, and in this area I will skip, and on top here I will do a cluster of 3 double crochets. Okay, 2 and 3. And then I'm gonna skip this area here and this area here, and in this spot here I will do my 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. And then I'll skip this lump area right here, and I'll skip this, and on top of the next lump I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 double crochets. So I don't know if you guys are understanding. Hopefully we don't have actual stitches to work into in these sections here. So what we do is we just skip, we use these the dented areas and the protruding areas, we use them to guide us as to where we're putting what stitches. Okay, so you're gonna pretty much continue to do this. So again, the next is I'm skipping this dented area, I'm skipping the lumpy area, and on the dented area I go ahead and do my 3 double crochets. So you just continue to alternate it like this all the way to the end. So as you will see, if I do a dented area here, the next one I'm doing is in a lump. And then the next time I'm skipping this and I'm doing in a dented area, the next one I'm doing in the lump, okay? So go ahead and do this all around here. When you get back to the end here, come back to the video and I will show you what to do next. And yeah, and then I'll show you what to do next. See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my row here, and as you can see, this is pretty much how it looks. Okay, and as you can see, I am just right here where I'm going to do one final cluster. So as you can see here, we're going to skip just this section here because we're going to need to work our cluster right here, because then we skip this spot here before we go there. Okay, so just right into this, we're going to go ahead and do our cluster of 3 double crochets like that. Okay, and then as you can see, we will go and do a slip stitch on top of the chain 2 that we did, which was the first double crochet. Okay, so we just go ahead and grab the top of it and complete a slip stitch like that. Okay, but I'm gonna undo that final slip stitch because there's something we have to do here. We're actually changing colors. So I'm gonna go to, let me undo that so I can do it properly. I'm actually going to change to the pink. So what I will do is I will just go like this. So instead of completing the slip stitch, I stop it right like that. And then what I do is I bring in my scissors and I cut my white somewhere here, put that away, and I grab my pink. Okay, so again, the alternation of colors here is absolutely up to you. You can do it however you want to do. You can just not do any color change at all. But for the sake of this tutorial, if you're following it to the T, then you will just follow what I'm doing here, okay? So I bring in my pink, and again, it's a Valentine's Day outfit, so we're using these nice girly colors. And but if you're making these obviously for not Valentine's, then you would use different colors and things like that. So with this like this, so the same thing as I did earlier, I just switch that over to the other side like that, and then I bring my pink in like this. So I just complete the slip stitch but with a different color. And here I will just pull the yarns that I have hanging so I can kind of tighten it like this. Okay, so as you can see, we have something like this. And then what I will do here is I will start my next row with the pink. So I will start by doing a chain of 2, which counts as a double crochet. And in this part here, I will actually turn. It will work better if I turn because I'm going to need to work into this space here. So into this space here, I'm going to work 2 more double crochets. So 1, 2, and because my chain 2 counts as a double crochet, so now I have my cluster of 3 double crochets here. What you can do with this strings here is you can knot them. So what I do is I just take the 2 from previously when we changed the color, and I knot these 2 so that they don't come loose on me, just once and twice to make it sturdy, like that. And I do the same with the white and pink. I cut the pink a little bit, do the pink a little bit shorter, but it's okay as long as I have enough to do knots. So I do that like that once and then twice. And this just makes it so that you don't accidentally pull it and then it comes off and your work is unraveled. This one is the one we had from joining here. So this is just hanging by its own there. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna show you how to do this row, and then we're gonna do one more row of the clusters of double crochets, and then we're gonna change the stitch altogether and do something completely different. But for this part, I'm gonna show you how to do the next. Okay, so you have your 3 clusters of double crochets here, and then what you do is you skip the 3 stitches right here and you go straight to this gap here. So this is pretty much like a granny stitch. Okay, for those of you who are not aware, we just pretty much do the granny stitches for this part of the project here. So we do 3 double crochets here, and then we skip these 3 double crochets, and in this gap we go into it and we complete 3 double crochets. Okay, like so. Then we skip these 3 double crochets into the next, we do 3 double crochets. So you kind of understand what's going on here, right? So it's just, this is all you're doing now, is just doing your granny stitches by just going into these gaps here and completing your 3 double crochets, and then moving on to the next gap, doing 3 double crochets. Okay, so I would like you guys to do that all the way to the end. When you come back here, so your next 3 clusters or your final one should be right in this space here, and then come back to the video so I can show you what to do next. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the pink, the round or the row of pink, and as you can see, I have arrived here. I did my cluster of 3 double crochets here. So we will go ahead and slip stitch here. So we'll do the same thing we did in the previous row, where we just go into the top stitch of the 2 chains that we did, the chain 2. We're gonna go like this, but we're gonna leave it like this because we're changing the color again. So I'm gonna bring in my scissors and I'll cut my yarn somewhere here, and then I'm gonna bring in the white again. So we're actually gonna do the granny stitch in white, pink, and then back to white. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in the white color here, and then we will do something different after that. Okay, so I'm just gonna prep my yarn here so I can show you how to start. So it's just the same as the last time that we did it. So if obviously you know that, you just go ahead and do it. So again, I just take this yarn and bring it to my right hand side so I can hold it down, and then I bring my next color and I just bring it through like this, and then I do a chain of 2. And then I just pull these 2 yarns a little bit down like this to be able to make it so that they're not too loose. And then I'm gonna turn so I can work into this space here. So this counts, my chain 2 counts as a double crochet, and then I'll do 2 more double crochets into this gap here. Okay, so oopsie. So 1 and 2, making it 3 with a double crochet. Okay, so just like this. Okay. And then again, just like we did the other side, you can knot these 2 colors here so they don't come off. And what I do is I just flip my work like this so that I can work on it properly. And as you can see, the skirt is starting to form here, but obviously we will do a lot more. Yeah, anyway, so then from here, we move on to this gap here and do our 3 double crochets. So do a granny stitch right here. Okay. And then we move on to this next gap here and complete our 3 double crochets. Okay, so again, not gonna tell you too much on this because it's just literally repeating the last row, where we just do the same thing we did in the last row, and you do your 3 clusters of double crochets in every gap, meaning you're skipping 3 stitches, and you do that all around until you come back to here again. When you arrive and done your 3 double crochets here, come back to the video, and then I will show you what to do for the next part of the project. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my next row here in the granny stitch. And as you can see, I just did my final 3 double crochets right here. And of course, the next spot is to slip stitch on the other side. So I will go ahead and do what we did in the previous row, which is go on top of this chain 2, just like that. But instead of finishing that, we're gonna stop here because we need to change the color. So I'm gonna bring my scissors, I'm gonna cut my yarn somewhere there, put that away, put my scissors away, and this time we're gonna bring in the red. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in the red here, and this red is going to be what we use for quite a while of the project. Okay, so I'm just prepping my yarn here. Okay, so again, I have my red. I just flip the white to the other side like this so I can hold it, and then I bring in the red and I bring it in like this. Okay, now for this part of the project here, we're going to do stitches that are, we're going to do half double crochet stitches. Ooh, let's not lose that. Okay, like that, and pull the white. Okay, so, and I'm going to hold the 2 like this so I don't lose them. And so we're going to do a chain of 1 instead of a chain of 2 like we have been doing for the double crochets. And the chain of 1 does not count as a double crochet. Okay, so what you will do then, in that center, you will go in and complete a half double crochet, just like that. Okay, and then you're gonna do a half double crochet in that stitch right here, and then a half double crochet into this stitch right here. And for this section here, the place that is the gap, you have a choice to go in like this to do a half double crochet like this. Okay, or you can go by going in the bottom, just go into the bottom like that and complete a half double crochet. And either way it works. So what I will choose to do is I will just go and just grab the bottom, from the bottom like that. And when you go into these stitches, don't forget right here there's a stitch that goes with this stitch right here. So right next to that gap there's a stitch you need to go into like this and do a half double crochet, because otherwise you will end up just doing 2 half double crochets and then into the gap, and that makes it so that there's only 2 stitches that you work into here as opposed to 3. Okay, so make sure you go into this first one here, complete your half double crochet, and then into the next, and then into the next, and then into the next. Okay, so the other thing that I just want to mention here is that, as you can see, the skirt is obviously increased just by the stitches that we did here. It went out like this. These half double crochet stitches can end up making it a little bit tighter, so it can make up kind of looking like it's reducing. You have 2 choices to fix that. You can either increase your skirt at this point, and what you do is you go and just count out, let's say 5 double crochets. So you have double crochets, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, or in this gap here, every other, maybe 2 or 1, you increase in the gap. You do 2 in the gap, and then you go and continue, and then do 2 in the next, and do that like that. Okay, and what that will do is it will keep your work staying wider, as opposed to it all of a sudden coming down. So what I will do for mine is I crochet loose, and with just having my hook here, having my hook bigger than what is recommended for the yarn, it's already going to make it so that I don't do it too tight. The other option that I do here is I crochet very loose, or like my tension is very even. So just because I'm doing the half double crochet stitches doesn't mean I am making it too tight. It's very even like this, but it's still kind of flexible enough. Okay, so I don't do any increases at all. I just continue to do it the way I'm doing it now, and then yeah, so I just continue to do it the way we do it now. So I will have you guys just continue doing this all the way to the end, and when you come back to this section here, come back to the video and I will show you what to do next. We will also look to see if an increase is required. Maybe I will complete it all the way to the end and realize, oh, I need to increase. And what I will do is, if I do need to increase, I will obviously come back and let you guys know the how I increase or when I increase. Okay, so I will see you guys when you get back to this section here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my half double crochet row here, as you can see. It's starting to look very nice. I love the combination of the colors here. And as you can see, I just did my last half double crochet there. And so what I will actually do is I will do one more into this gap, okay? So I'll just go right into the gap and complete a half double crochet like that. And then now what I will do is the chain one that we completed, we're gonna use that to slip stitch, okay? So we're just gonna go on top of it and we're gonna go ahead and slip stitch like this, okay? So that completes this row here. So just so I can lay it down so you guys can see. So even though I went from doing double crochet stitches to half double crochet stitches, as you can see, it doesn't shrink it in, it doesn't bring it in. Because of the tensity in the tension that I crochet with, it doesn't make it go very tight, and as well the crochet hook size that I'm using, okay? So again, if you do realize your work is kind of shrinking inwards like this, then this is when you would increase, just like I said before. The other option, by the way, which I forgot to say, is to do these rows here in double crochet. But I do it in half double crochet because it's a skirt and you want to be able to wear it and it's not too see-through. If you do double crochets, it could expand a little bit and make it so that you can see what you have underneath very clearly. It's not a problem if you're gonna wear something more, you know, like more covering inside, but you want to be able to not have to do that if you do it in this kind of stitch here, okay? So anyway, so now I have completed the first row. So for the second row, I'm gonna do a chain of one again, and this is where we're gonna turn every time we do a new row, we turn, okay? So you do chain one. It does not count as a half double crochet. And so in this very first stitch right here, I'm gonna go in and do my first half double crochet, just in that same stitch where my chain one came from, okay? And then I'm gonna go into the next stitch right here and complete a half double crochet. And then into the next stitch, go ahead and complete a half double crochet, and into the next, and into the next, and into the next. And then you just do this all around until you come back to the beginning. And then when you get to the beginning right here, you will do your final half double crochet here, slip stitch on top of the chain one, turn and repeat, okay? So what I will do, just to show you guys the next, how to do the next row, let's go ahead. I will continue to do my half double crochets here all around until I come back here. Meet me here, and then I will show you how to start the next row, and then the next row is what you repeat for quite a while, okay? But for now, let's meet back when you get to here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my second row of the half double crochet here. As you can see, that's how it looks like for the second row, okay? And as you can see, I just did my final half double crochet there. This stitch here is where this chain one is coming out of, so we don't work into that. So and then I just slip stitch on top of that chain one. So I just go like this and I do a slip stitch, and that completes this row. And then for the next row, I do a chain one and I turn. And as I turn, I flip it so that it's easy to work with it from the outside in, like this. And then in that stitch there, I go ahead and complete a half double crochet because your chain one does not count as a stitch. So you just go in there and complete a half double crochet. And then in the next stitch, you go ahead and complete a half double crochet. And in the next, and in the next, and in the next, okay? So this is the part now where you repeat for quite a while, as I said earlier. And for this skirt, you can do it whatever length you want, okay? So I am going to do it so it's above your knees, or like a mini skirt. It's not too mini, but it's not too short either. It's not too long either. So I'm gonna work this until just maybe 2 to 3 inches before my knees. And then, and also keep in mind from the top here, it is gonna go really high up. I'm gonna pretty much have this probably just right, this band is gonna probably cover my belly button, okay? So it's gonna go from my belly button all the way down to just above my knees, okay? So let's say this, let's do maybe 3 to 4 inches before your knees, because we do have a little bit of added pattern to do in the bottom that we're gonna do. So for this part, just do it so that you have a couple of inches before your knees. That is if you're doing the exact same thing as I'm doing. If you're looking to do this skirt a lot shorter, then you just stop where you want to stop and leave about an inch of space in the bottom so that we can work a little bit of a bordering in the bottom, okay? So yeah, go ahead and work this, and when you have the size you want, or the size with an exception of an inch, of your work, then come back to the video, and then we will go ahead and finish off the bottom, and then we'll be done with this project. Okay, I will see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and worked up my skirt here. So as you can see, this is pretty much how it looks like. I did about 40 rows here, and all together from the band all the way to where I stopped here, I have about 14 and a half inches. So it's a short skirt, so that's why I will stop this section here, but we need to do a final part in the bottom of the skirt. So what I will show you here is just quickly how to finish these off, and then we're gonna go ahead and go into the change of color. So I have my scissors here, and I'm gonna bring in my hook, and all I need to do is just slip stitch on top of this chain one like this. But because we're changing color, we just stop here, and I take my scissors and I just cut the yarn somewhere here. Okay, so nothing too complicated, just like we've been doing the project. And then I'm gonna grab the white because we're gonna do the white. Okay, so I have my white here, so we're gonna bring that in. And all I need to do here is just repeat what we did here in the right after the bend, okay? So it just makes it so that we finish off with this design here in the bottom as well. So I'm gonna quickly show you how to start that off, and then I'm gonna talk about how many rows you're doing and how you're doing it, and then we can go ahead and finish it off for the project. Okay, so again, I have my work like this. I bring that yarn to the side so I can bring the white in like that, and then I do a chain of 2, and if you remember, the chain of 2 in this part here counts as a double crochet. Okay, and then what I will do is right into that same stitch, I'm going to go ahead and work my 2 double crochets because we're going to create a granny stitch right here. Okay, so I do 2 more double crochets, that makes it 3 with the chain 2. And then I'm going to skip 3 stitches, so 1 2, so I'm going to skip 2 1 2. In the third, I'm going to do 3 double crochets. So I'm going to do the cluster of 3 double crochets. Okay, so 2 3, and then I'm going to skip 1 2. In the third, I am going to do the same, so just do clusters of 3 double crochets. Okay, so again, as you can see, I'm just trying to create what we did here. So in here we did the white, and then we did the pink, and then we did the white, and that's exactly how I'm gonna finish the bottom of these here. It just makes it so that it has this nice design in the bottom as well. Okay, so what I will do obviously here is I will have you guys work this pattern all around, and as you can see, it's very simple, nothing too complicated. Skip 2 stitches in the third, do 3 double crochets, skip 2 stitches in the third, do 3 double crochets, and you're going to do this around the base of your bottom here all the way to here. When you get back here, come back to the video, and I will go ahead and show you how to change the color to the pink. We already know how to do it, but I'll just show it to you one more time, and then I will have you guys finish whatever number of rows you want. Okay, so I'll see you guys when you get back here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the first row of the granny stitch here. So as you can see, I got right here. So just a quick work around here. So as we talked about, we're skipping 2 stitches to do our clusters, but when I got to the end here, I had a total of 3 stitches, so which technically I could have just gone straight and done a slip stitch here and skip 3, but it's going to make this spot here very gappy. So what I did was I just skipped 1 and then did my cluster here, and then we're gonna skip this one and then slip stitch on top of the chain 2 like that. Okay, it's better for that we don't skip the 3 and have only 1 skipped here, 1 skipped here, than to do that. So that's a workaround in case you don't have your stitches in pairs of 3. Okay, all together. So I'm gonna go ahead cut these again here just like we have been doing, and then I'm going to bring in the pink. Okay, so I bring in the pink here, and we're gonna do a row of the pink, and then we're going to change again and do the row of white, and that will be the end. Okay, so I'm gonna show you quickly how to start this, and then I'll have you guys finish everything to the end. So with these, I'm just gonna make sure I hold this on this side here so it doesn't come off, and then I'm gonna bring my pink in just like that, chain 2, and then we're gonna pull the white, and pull the pink just a little bit so that it does kind of tighten up a little bit here. Okay, and then now we're going to turn. So this is the portion where we actually turn, so that we can work the 3 double crochets here. So this is, it counts as a double crochet, and then in this gap here we're gonna work 3 total, so 2 more to make it 3. Okay, just like that. Then we're gonna move on to this gap here, and we're gonna do 3 double crochets, just like that. And then we're gonna move to this gap here and do 3 double crochets. Okay, so I'm not gonna show too much here because this is all we're doing around. So we're going to come all the way to here. We're gonna do a cluster of 3 double crochets here, slip stitch on top of this chain 2, do a chain of 2, change the color, change the color to the white, back to the white, and then do a chain of 2, turn, and then start the other row by completing a row of the white. And then when you have completed all of that, you can come back to the video so we can see how it looks like. If you want to alternate and do something different in the bottom here, it's also up to you. But if you're following the tutorial the way I'm doing it here, then you're going to be just doing this row and then a row of white and then come back. Okay, what I will do as well in the meanwhile is I will weave in all of my ends, because I'm coming back to just kind of see how our project looks like, and then ending the video. So I'm going to do all the weaving in of all the strings while I'm off camera, and then I'm going to come back so that we can conclude the video. Okay, so I'll see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the bottom of the skirt here. So as you can see, I repeated this pattern that we did right here, just in the bottom, just to kind of make it light and kind of like, you know, nice and playful. And yeah, so this is pretty much the end of the project here for me. So as I said, I weaved in all the ends as I finished the bottom here. So I hope you did the same, and this is pretty much the end of the project here. The other thing that you could do if you try your skirt on and maybe it's a little bit loose on the waist, because some of us have wide hips, so when we do this part here, the waistband here, to be something that can come up the widest part of our hips, and if you have wide hips, these may end up being loose around your waist. So the other thing to do is just do like a drawstring, which is pretty much a chain, a long chain of any color, of any of these colors. It could be the white, the pink, or the red. And then you can just kind of put it in here. If you don't know how to put it up in the at the top of the band here, go check out some of the videos I've done in the past of skirts. You will see, or even pants, you will see how to do that. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching this to the end. I hope you guys will enjoy this. The top as well is gonna be something that you will probably want to make, because it's gonna be a two-part. So I'm gonna do this video and the top as a two-parter, and because we're very close to Valentine's, I'll probably post them about at the same time. So you may see 2 videos going up at the same time. It's just for you guys to have access to making this outfit if you want to make it for Valentine's Day, which is in about 2 weeks. But the other thing too as well is that it works up really fast. The top is the easiest. It works up really fast, and this one will take a tiny bit longer, but not too much. But if you really do have a couple of hours in the week, you can get these done very quickly. Okay, but yeah, that's it here. Thank you so much for watching the video to the end. Do not forget to subscribe, comment, like, share all the good things. And if you also want to join to be a channel member, check out the link that says join and click on that, and you will have the instructions on what to do to be able to become a member. Thank you so much again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.